So, I'm going to be making a alcohol fireplace. So the first step is you're going to need to have a 1-gallon paint can. That's what I use anyways. I've used a couple of different sizes, but the 1 gallon is what I want to use this time. So this is really tall and that's going to take a ton of alcohol. So I am going to cut off the middle part of that by making 2 cuts right down the center, so that it'll only be about 2 inches to 3 inches tall. So I'm going to try to use this. So first of all, because I am terrible at cutting, I'm going to draw the lines on. So I got the 2 lines, and the middle part is the part that I will be cutting off. Okay, so it's really sharp, so I figure this will work really well. And that's terrifying. Almost sliced up my leg. Going better. Okay. Alright, I'm done with this. I'm going to use something else. I'm going to use a knife and cut it with that. So I sped it up because this ended up taking way longer than I thought it would. But I find that if you do a little bit on one side and then a little bit on the other side, that ends up working better. Otherwise it gets too flimsy. So once you have the cut all the way through, just pull the last part off, and then you're going to have the top and the bottom part. So the bottom part needs to go inside of the top part. So to do that, we're going to need to fold this over a little bit, so it's a little bit smaller. So you just make a little crease in there, and then it folds over. And that makes the diameter of this bottom part just a little bit smaller, so that it can slide inside of it. So try to get a nice crease. And it should just go right on. So yeah, it goes on, and you're going to push it firm so that it takes up as much of that as it can. And you're just going to flatten it out on the inside, because you don't want it to come out too far, because you don't want to be pouring alcohol into there and have it come out. So I just flattened it up against the side. Use the knife to kind of push it up against the wall. So you don't want to have to worry about filling it too much. So if you find the lowest point on the part that goes in, then you make a little mark, and if you don't fill past there, you won't have to worry about overfilling. Okay, so finally we're getting pretty close to the end, and I'm going to trace out the part of the lid that I want to cut out. This is where the wick is going to go in so that it can soak up the alcohol. So I make it about this thick because that seems like about a good thickness so that it draws up enough alcohol. And then we're just going to cut out the lid. So once the hole is cut, we're going to make our wick. So I usually use just old clean rags. You're going to want it to be able to go through the hole, so I ended up folding this one over like 3 or 4 times so that it goes through. And then you go from the top and push the wick through and just pull it through. So it's going to have a lot of extra, but that's okay, because every time when it's running out of alcohol, it'll burn off the top a little bit. So I just cut it so that it's nice and flat. And you just place it back in. So with the alcohol, there's two different kinds that I use. The 91%, which burns a little higher and a little warmer, but it also burns faster. Then there's a 70%. This is the one that I generally use. It doesn't burn quite as high or as hot, but it burns for a little longer, and it's a lot cheaper. So I recommend that, but sometimes I bust out the 91% if I want it to be bigger and a little bit showier. So either one works great, but the 70 is cheaper. So I wanted to make mine look nice. This was my shirt. I was a pirate for Halloween. You just place rocks all around the can until it looks nice and until it looks how you want it. Okay, finally, I'm going to fill it up. I ended up using about half of the bottle, and I find that burns for quite a while. And it ended up filling it up about that much. So I just placed this in, and I push it down. So I have a wet rag here. I throw that over the fire to put it out. I'm gonna make something that looks nicer later. Starts small, but then it gets big pretty quick. So that's the final result. It's hard to show it on film, but it really does make a pretty good sized flame. And it doesn't have any odor. And it ends up working out really great inside. So that's how you make an alcohol fireplace insert on the cheap. Thanks for watching. Bye.